Hello, Flosstube, and everyone out there in the cross-stitch world. I am new. My name is Nina, and I am from Northern Ontario in a town called Sudbury, and it's very cold here. I am a cross-stitcher, and I do Hardanger. I've been cross-stitching for, I'm going to say 25 years, somewhere around there. Hardanger for over 20 years. Um, Cross stitch was introduced to me by a woman I worked with um, in in Ottawa, again Canada, Ottawa, Ontario. We worked at a major hotel. She was one of my supervisors, and she had asked me to watch her house or her apartment when she went on vacation. When I went over with her to get introduced to her apartment, she had some cross stitching and she showed it to me, and I wanted to do it. So she gave me a small kit, gave me some tips and hints, and I've taken off since then. I've often thought of her, and if she's watching this, hopefully she knows who she is. I'm not sure how she feels about giving her name out, so I'm not going to do that. But I've often thought of her, and I've often thought, thank you, because stitching has changed my life. I also introduced my mother to stitching after she introduced me, and my mother and I both love stitching. My mother passed away a couple of years ago, but she and I exchanged our stitching projects, talked about stitching. When there was a stitching store in Ottawa, we went to stitching shopping. We did all sorts of things stitchy, my mother and I. I do miss her because of that. Well, I miss her for other reasons, but that's one of the main reasons. She was my stitching companion. Um, Even long distance, she was my stitching companion. So she started me. This friend of mine in Ottawa started me, and I haven't seen her or talked to her since I moved away. Um, so if she is listening to this, if she does discover Flosstube, if she's still stitching, thank you. That was the greatest gift. It has pulled me through depression. It's pulled me through homesickness. It's pulled me through so many things, and I love it. Um, Hardanger was something that uh, my aunt had sent my mother a piece she had done in Hardanger. It was red cloth with white stitches, so colors I liked anyway. And when I saw it, I thought, oh, I love that. I didn't know what it was. And even when I asked her about it, she lived on a little island in northern Michigan. And a woman on that island was a Norwegian woman who taught it to her. I had no idea how to get a hold of materials or books or anything to do with that. I mean, this was in the 80s. Was it the 80s? I think it was the 80s. And so before computers, internet, etc. I didn't see it in magazines. I didn't. So I just kept it in my head. And I thought, I'd love to learn how to do this, but didn't know how to get a hold of it. When my husband and I got married, we moved to Sudbury here in Northern Ontario. And the first summer we were here, I discovered a little tiny stitching shop downtown Sudbury. It's no longer there, but at the time it was there, and I went in and she had Hardanger. I was so excited. So she introduced me to it. She sold me a book, 22 count ecru Hardanger, the thread, number 5 pearl cotton, number 8 pearl cotton, and gave me a couple of needles and said follow the instructions in the book, and that's what I did, and love it. I still love cross stitch, but I switch back and forth. Cross stitch I love the colors, I love the design, the picture, whatever it is you make out of it. But it's a lot of fiddling. You need to get a frame of some sort, whether it be a hoop, a Q-snap, or a scroll frame. I've used them all. Um, I've never tried cross stitching in hand, although I did talk to one person many years ago who did do that. Maybe I should give it a try someday. I'm saying in hand without any hoops, etc. But it is a bit of work to do that. And I've tried them all. I've got them all. Um, Again, though, everything is trial and error because I had no instruction, no nothing until I discovered you guys. Um, then with Hardanger, I did it all in hand, no hoop, no nothing. I could pick it up, hold it, stitch, and it was a sewing motion, not a stabbing motion, so it felt faster. I didn't have to change colors, although I have done a couple of pieces where there's 2 or 3 colors, which turns out beautiful. Plus, there's times where you have to really count and think, and then there's times where you just stitch and stitch and stitch, and before you know it, you've gone from one end all the way around to the other end. And your mind can just start wandering, going off in all sorts of directions, or listen to an audiobook or something. It's or listen to Flosstube now, which is fantastic. Um, so I loved Hardanger for that reason. It was simple, quick to pick up, quick to put down. Um, didn't take much if I was traveling. Didn't take much to bring with me. Um, I didn't have to think, do I have all my colors? Do I have this? Do I have that? So I did like Hardanger for that reason, and the pieces, of course, turned out beautiful. But cross stitch too, just absolutely love it. There's so much you can do with it, and I will show you pieces I've done and also what I'm working on. Um, but I'll start this video with an introduction. So as I said, my name is Nina. I live in Northern Ontario. I am a stitcher and addicted to stitching. And thank you, Flosstube. I have learned more in the last couple of months of watching you guys than I have in 25 years. You now make me want to do more, so much more. I've even ordered 2 Heaven and Earth designs that are en route. I've ordered them in paper, but I will give Goodreader a try. My husband has a little iPad mini and he's volunteered that I could use it, so I will give that a try, although not just yet. I'm going to stick with the paper for the moment. I am currently retired. I was given the opportunity or gift, I guess, I think I would say, from my husband about 3 or 4 years ago that I could stay at home and be a housewife. What a great gift it's been. As long as financially we can do it, this is where I'm staying. Before that, I worked in the insurance industry, before that in the dairy industry, and before that in the hotel industry. And I have a university degree in ancient history and archaeology. So none of which connects to the other. How on earth I went from ancient history and archaeology to hotel to dairy to insurance is anybody's guess, but it certainly was interesting. The last job I had was the insurance industry. I loved it. It was a very difficult decision to leave that and stay at home because the people. I love the people. And I miss the people, but I do love being at home. And I think it was the right decision to make because of the opportunity that we could take it. Northern Ontario is all about the people. When we moved to Sudbury, let's see, we moved here in 91. And I got my first job with the dairy industry, worked there for 11 years. After that, I worked for the insurance industry for 10 years. I don't know. Anyway, somewhere around there. Both those jobs introduced me or connected me to the people of Northern Ontario. And I'm just, the people of Northern Ontario make you feel like you belong to this community, all of Northern Ontario. When the first moved here, my first job was call order at the dairy. So I called all the towns in Northern Ontario, including Thunder Bay, so all the towns in Northern Ontario, and asked them for their order. All the grocery stores, the little corner stores, anybody who bought milk, a dairy of any kind. And you got to know these people. And they felt even if they were hundreds of miles away, you were treated like a neighbor. It just blows my mind how it's like this. And I think that it's very similar in the East Coast. I think people who live, and I'm just going to throw out Newfoundland, from what I have heard, I haven't visited, and I'm just dying to go. And my husband and I talk about it quite a bit. Even visiting there, they make you feel very welcome. And Northern Ontario is like that. It's all of Northern Ontario is a community. We moved here. My husband's originally from here. We met in Ottawa, and that's where I was living at the time. And then we moved here. His family is from here, and his whole family now lives here, which is fantastic. So I have a big family that I'm a part of, and some very good friends. So this is home. This is the first time in my life that I have felt this is home. I was born in Germany, lived there till I was 8. We moved to Canada. Then I lived in Canada. I did live for a year or two down in the States. But really home is here in Northern Ontario. This is where I felt most at home and most part of the community. And I'm getting off topic here. So, my name is Nina. I'm retired. I stitch. Live in Northern Ontario. Oh, okay, family. I have a son. I just have one child. He is 22. He's seriously considering going back to school, and I really hope he does. He's right now upgrading, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that he'll be back in school in September. But he is doing his upgrading, math and sciences, so which is fantastic. We have no pets currently. I don't think we're going to get a pet, although my husband did try to convince me to get a dog. I'm saying no, dogs are a lot of work. If I had a choice, I would get a cat, but my husband and my son are very allergic. My son especially is very allergic to cats, and we just can't have one. We did try a cat from the SPCA a number of years ago to see how my son did. Of course, he's not, he picks up the cat and nuzzles it and just loves it to death, and then he can't breathe. So it's his own darn fault too, but we can't have a cat. So I told my husband, I said, if anything ever happened to him or my son, I'm getting a cat or two. So that's where we are there. What else? I think that's the basic. I will do another video showing my stitching spot. I'll do, I don't know if at that time or not, I'll talk about my tools that I use. I will do a video on pieces that I still have. Many of them were given away, but I still have some here, both Hardanger and cross stitch. My mother did a lot of stitching, and I have a lot of her pieces. I had made her a deal that if she stitched something and it needed framing and I paid for the framing, I got to keep it. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. She agreed to it too, so I was pretty happy about that. Mind you, by the same time, every time I stitched something, she would say, oh, if that's not going to anybody, I want it. So she got a lot of my stitching too, which I did get back when she passed away. So I'll do all those. And I might even try, but don't put me to a time frame, please. But I might even try to try stitching Hardanger on camera and show you how I do it. Because a lot of you have talked about Hardanger. Don't be afraid of it. It is nice. The cutting, yes, When I first did it, I did have to, I made sure that I had no child around. It was in the morning when I was wide awake with lots of sunshine. So cutting did not happen often, but I planned it very carefully. Now I can cut just about any time, and I'm pretty confident in my cutting. But yes, it's a little scary at first. Um, Another thing to be careful of with Hardanger is your closter blocks, stitching them up because they need to be stitched properly if you're going to be cutting around them. But the books around, and I will show you a couple of books that I still use as my Bible, and two of them I know are still for sale. The other one I don't know if it's still for sale or not, but I will show you those, and they are excellent for getting tips and hints and how to do it. What else? I think that's it. I just want to say thank you guys. You guys, uh, I was trying to catch up. I don't think I'm going to catch up on all the videos. Um, so now I'm trying to catch up with just January and then December, and then try to catch up after that with February, and then hopefully I'll be caught up, and then we can carry on from there. I have not left very many comments. Um, but please take this video as a comment on every one of yours. Thank you. Uh, your tutorials are fantastic. Just listening to you talk, even if it's something, I mean, everybody's tastes are different. If your taste is different from mine, I just like listening to you talk. You point out what you love about the piece. You point out how excited you are. Even if you don't point it out, you can tell you love the piece and you're excited. And I just love hearing it. I sit and I stitch and I listen to you. So your long videos, keep them up. Don't stop being long. I like listening about your everyday life. I like listening about how you try to fit your stitching in, how you stitch, everything to do with it. And take this video as a huge thank you out there. As I said, I've learned more in the last couple of months from watching you guys than I have in all the 25 odd years that I've been stitching. Um, and keep going. Even if someone's done a video on, I'll use parking as an example. I've watched now every video I could find on parking because I am going to give it a try. I was terrified of doing say a heaven and earth design, something like that, because I had no idea how you guys did it until I saw your videos, and I've ordered my heaven and earth. So even if people have done the videos and you think, oh, well, I won't do it because somebody else has done it, do it anyway. I will listen to your video because you're probably going to have a little tip in there that I'm going to think, oh, that's how that's done. So, I mean, do them. You know, even if you hit one person with something new, do it. Do it. Anything you do is fantastic. At any rate, thank you. I will try to keep posting videos. I will show you more of what I'm doing. You'll see that I'm in my craft room. I do paper crafts as well. But, oh, how exciting is this? Something that I've put away for many years and I should pull out again. I have brass templates with holes in them that you can do on paper for Hardanger. I'll have to show that to you. I love stitching on paper. I haven't done much of it, but I love doing it. Pergamano, which is on vellum, sometimes will look a little bit like Hardanger. Oh my God, I've got to get into all this stuff. At any rate, thank you guys. I will be back, and rest assured I am watching and listening to each and every one of you.